In 2025, researchers at the International Institute for Cellular Renewal stumbled upon a phenomenon so astounding it challenged everything we thought we knew about aging. They discovered that within every human being lies a cluster of what they called child genes, dormant sequences of DNA that remain untouched after early development. These genes, when reactivated, appear to restore cell vitality, repair damaged tissues, and rejuvenate the body from within. But the most shocking revelation wasn't in the genes themselves, it was in what activated them. Not a pill, not a serum, not a surgical innovation. It was breath. Yes, breathing, something so ordinary, so automatic, holds the hidden code to biological renewal. The scientists found that specific rhythmic breathing patterns, remarkably similar to those practiced by ancient yogis thousands of years ago, could awaken these sleeping genes. The study participants who learned this breathing technique began to show molecular markers of youth, improved mitochondrial function, elongated telomeres, and a rebalanced hormonal system. They reported clearer skin, sharper minds, and a profound sense of peace. Imagine the paradox: the power to reverse the clock, to rejuvenate your cells, to awaken the vitality you had as a child, all by reclaiming something you've done since birth. Breathing, reborn as science's greatest rediscovery. We live in an age of relentless motion, scrolling, rushing, consuming, striving. Our minds race faster than our lungs can keep up. In the constant pressure to do more, we have forgotten how to do the one thing that sustains all life: breathe. Most people today exist in a state of chronic, shallow breathing. Our inhales barely reach the chest. Our exhales are cut short before they can release tension. The body starves for oxygen, and the mind mistakes this deprivation for anxiety, fatigue, and aging. Science has proven that oxygen is the foundation of cellular life. Every cell depends on it to create energy, detoxify waste, and maintain vitality. Yet when breath becomes restricted, cells operate at half power. Mitochondria, the tiny engines of our cells, slow down. The nervous system stays trapped in survival mode, flooding the body with stress hormones. Collagen breaks down, memory fades, the skin loses its glow. Slowly, the body begins to age not just by years, but by breathlessness. This modern epidemic of shallow breathing is the invisible thief of youth. It steals energy, focus, and emotional stability. But here lies the paradox, because the same mechanism that accelerates aging can also reverse it. Within your DNA are dormant child genes, the same ones that once fueled rapid growth, resilience, and wonder. When these genes are asleep, you feel older. When they awaken, life itself feels renewed. Scientists and spiritual masters alike now agree. The secret to reactivating these child genes lies not in external treatments, but in how we breathe. Conscious breath restores oxygen balance, recharges cellular energy, and signals the body to repair itself. The very act of deep breathing tells your cells that it is safe again to grow, heal, and regenerate. We have been looking for anti-aging miracles in laboratories, creams, and technologies. Yet the most profound tool for rejuvenation has been quietly waiting within us, between every inhale and exhale. The problem is not our lack of technology. It's our lack of awareness. The solution begins with remembering the sacred art of breathing as if life itself depends on it. Because it does. Long before microscopes, genetic testing, or modern medicine, the ancients knew that breath was far more than air. It was life itself. Across civilizations and continents, breath was revered as the bridge between body and spirit, matter and energy, mortality and the divine. In ancient India, sages called it prana, the vital force that animates all living things. The Egyptians named it Ankh, the key of life. In China, it was Qi, the invisible current flowing through the universe. The Greeks called it Pneuma, meaning both breath and spirit. Every culture pointed to the same truth. The way you breathe determines the way you live, age, and evolve. Ancient yogic scriptures describe sequences of breathwork designed to cleanse, awaken, and renew the body. These weren't mere exercises, but sacred rituals encoded with understanding of human biology, centuries ahead of their time. Tibetan monks practiced rhythmic breathing to enter states of deep meditation, slowing their heart rate and raising body temperature in freezing mountains. Egyptian initiates were said to master controlled breathing to awaken Ka, their inner life essence, believed to restore youth and strength. For thousands of years, this knowledge was preserved in temples, monasteries, and secret schools, passed only to those who proved ready. But as civilization grew more materialistic, breath lost its sacredness. Humanity forgot the wisdom that life begins and ends with a breath, and that mastery of it opens the gate to immortality. Today, neuroscience and quantum biology are rediscovering what the ancients practiced intuitively. The patterns once used for enlightenment are now being measured for their effects on brain waves, heart rhythm, and cellular regeneration. It is as though the wisdom of the past has returned, translated into the language of science. The forgotten knowledge is no longer hidden in caves or scrolls. It's written in your DNA, whispering through every breath you take. The ancients left us a roadmap, and modern science is finally proving its truth. Breath is not just for survival. It is the key to awakening the dormant potential of the human body. In 2025, a global team of biophysicists and molecular biologists published a landmark study that would send shockwaves through both the scientific and wellness communities. Their discovery, controlled breathing, could directly influence gene expression and cellular rejuvenation. Using advanced imaging and gene sequencing technology, they observed that rhythmic breathing altered the bioelectric field surrounding the body, which in turn affected the cell's communication network and triggered the activation of dormant DNA segments, what the researchers began to call child genes. These genes, normally silent after early childhood, contain blueprints for tissue repair, collagen synthesis, neural regeneration, and immune optimization. When awakened, they behave as if the body were rewinding its biological clock. Test subjects practicing a specific 9-breath sequence displayed remarkable physiological shifts, lower inflammation markers, improved oxygen utilization, and even early signs of telomere repair. Telomeres, those tiny caps on the ends of chromosomes that shorten with age, began to lengthen in a matter of weeks. The implications were staggering. What had once been dismissed as mystical breathwork, or placebo, was now measurable, repeatable, and scientifically validated. The body, when guided through precise patterns of inhalation and exhalation, could rewrite its cellular story. This wasn't fantasy. It was a biological reprogramming, driven by something as simple and profound as breath. Further studies revealed that deep rhythmic breathing increased mitochondrial density, the very powerhouses of our cells. With more mitochondria functioning at peak efficiency, energy production surged. Participants reported higher stamina, clearer cognition, and a sense of radiant vitality. Blood tests confirmed elevated oxygen saturation and reduced oxidative stress, two crucial markers of youthfulness. Neuroscientists joined the conversation, discovering that breath directly modulated the vagus nerve, the superhighway between the brain and body, responsible for emotional regulation, digestion, and healing. When activated through slow, rhythmic breathing, The vagus nerve signaled the parasympathetic system to initiate deep repair. Hormones such as DHEA and serotonin increased, while cortisol, the stress hormone, dropped dramatically. This new frontier of science blurred the lines between biology and consciousness. Breath, long regarded as an unconscious process, was now recognized as a tool for cellular command. By shifting our breath, we could influence the chemistry of our blood, the rhythm of our heart, and even the language of our genes. For centuries, humanity sought immortality in elixirs and external cures. But now, researchers began to speak of a new paradigm, the epigenetics of breath. Our genes, it turns out, are not static. They are symphonies waiting for the right conductor, and breath is the rhythm that awakens them. There is a bridge between science and spirit, and its foundation is breath. On one side stands the measurable world of biology, the chemistry of cells, the firing of neurons, the regulation of hormones. On the other side lives the intangible realm of awareness, the quiet witness, the consciousness that feels, observes, and creates meaning. For centuries, these two worlds seem divided. But the new understanding of breath is dissolving that boundary, revealing that science and spirituality have always been describing the same phenomenon in different languages. Every inhale draws in not only oxygen, but information, vibrations, energy, and subtle frequencies that communicate with every cell. When breath deepens and slows, it organizes those frequencies into coherence, creating harmony between the heart, brain, and body. Spiritual traditions have long taught that the breath carries the spirit, the essence of divine intelligence, flowing through matter. Modern science now measures this as heart rate variability, neural synchrony, and electromagnetic resonance. What mystics called alignment with the divine, researchers now call physiological coherence. In spiritual teachings, the breath is sacred because it is the meeting point of heaven and earth. It links the seen and unseen. When you breathe consciously, you draw awareness into matter and invite energy to become form. You become both creator and creation, sculpting your biology with your intention. The ancients understood this so deeply that every prayer, mantra, and meditation began with breath, not as a superstition, but as a technology of transformation. Today's studies reveal what monks, yogis, and shamans always knew. Intention amplifies biology. When you breathe with purpose, when your mind visualizes healing, youth, or light, the nervous system translates that vision into measurable changes in chemistry. Serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins rise. The body interprets thought as instruction. Consciousness writes directly into DNA through the language of breath. This unity between science and spirituality paints a breathtaking picture of what it means to be human. We are not victims of aging. We are participants in creation. Our cells listen to the energy of our awareness. Every inhale is a message saying, I choose life. Every exhale is a release of what no longer serves. The rhythm between the two becomes a sacred dialogue between body and soul. When you practice breathing with awareness, you're not simply improving oxygen flow. You are awakening the creative intelligence that built your body in the first place. You are reminding your cells how to be alive, how to glow, how to play. It is the resurrection of your inner child, not as a metaphor, but as a biological reality. Breath is the bridge. Science explains its mechanisms. Spirituality reveals its meaning. Together, they lead us to the same destination: remembrance. The remembrance that we were never separate from vitality, divinity, or youth. We only forgot how to breathe as we once did, when the world was still new, and we were still infinite. Before the 9 breaths begin, there must be preparation, not only of the body, but of the mind and the space around you. This is the moment where science meets ritual, and where the ordinary transforms into the sacred. The environment you create will amplify the effects of the breathing practice, turning it from a simple technique into a profound experience of renewal. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. The lighting should be soft, the air fresh, and the atmosphere calm. Sit either cross-legged on the floor or upright in a chair with your feet flat, your spine long and straight but relaxed. Let your shoulders soften and your jaw unclench. Your hands can rest gently on your knees or over your heart, whichever feels natural. The posture should invite openness, allowing breath to flow effortlessly through the lungs, diaphragm, and abdomen. Now close your eyes and bring your awareness inward. The world outside fades, and what remains is the pulse of life within you, the faint hum of the heart, the subtle vibration of energy flowing beneath your skin. Take a few normal breaths. Feel the air entering your nose, your chest expanding slightly, your body responding to the rhythm. Do not change anything yet. Simply notice. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Before the practice, it is essential to set an intention. This is not a wish or a vague hope. It is a statement of direction for your energy. Intention acts as the steering wheel of consciousness, guiding the breath toward a purpose. You might say inwardly, "I breathe to awaken my cells," or, "With each breath, I return to the vitality of my childhood." The words are not as important as the feeling behind them. When the intention vibrates with truth, the body listens. Next, take a moment to release the weight of the day. Imagine exhaling every worry, every thought, every piece of tension that no longer belongs to you. Feel your body becoming lighter, your energy field expanding. The 9 breaths work best when the mind is still and the heart is open. Breath cannot flow freely through a body clenched in resistance. Your emotional state, too, matters. Gratitude, curiosity, and surrender create the ideal frequency for rejuvenation. The practice is not about forcing the breath. It is about remembering its natural intelligence. Just as a river finds its path without effort, your breath will know where to flow once you stop interfering. Finally, understand that this preparation is not a formality. It is part of the technique itself. Each step aligns your nervous system, balances your electromagnetic field, and primes your body to receive oxygen and energy on a cellular level. Think of it as tuning an instrument before playing a symphony. The breath is the music, your body the instrument, and your awareness the musician. When you are ready, take one slow, deep inhale through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Hold for a moment, then exhale softly through the mouth, letting go of everything that is not needed. The preparation is complete. The doorway to renewal is open. What follows is the practice that will awaken the dormant intelligence within. The 9 breaths that can turn memory into power, energy into healing, and age into timelessness. The 9-breath technique is more than a pattern of inhales and exhales. It is a dialogue between breath, body, and consciousness. Each breath carries a purpose, an activation, a spark of remembrance. The sequence moves through 3 cycles of 3 breaths each, corresponding to the physical, emotional, and energetic layers of being. As you follow it, imagine peeling back the veils of time until you touch the innocence of your original self. Begin the first cycle, by closing your eyes and drawing your awareness to the base of your spine. Imagine a pool of warm, golden light resting there, waiting to rise. The first 3 breaths. Awakening the body. Inhale slowly through the nose for a count of 4, feeling the breath descend into your abdomen. Let it fill the belly first, then the ribs, and finally the chest, as if you are pouring air into a vessel from the bottom up. Hold the breath gently for a count of 4. Don't strain, just suspend time for a heartbeat. Then exhale through the mouth for a count of 6, letting every bit of tension leave the body. As you exhale, imagine the light in your spine flickering awake, traveling upward slightly. Repeat this 2 more times. With each breath, feel your muscles loosen, your shoulders drop, and your energy begin to stir. Your body is awakening from years of unconscious breathing, remembering what it means to be alive. The second 3 breaths. Balancing the emotions. Now shift your attention to the center of your chest, the heart space. This is where emotion, memory, and vitality intersect. Inhale through your nose for a count of 5, envisioning the air glowing with a soft emerald light. As you fill your lungs, imagine this light washing through the heart, cleansing old wounds, softening hard emotions. Hold the breath for a count of 5 and feel gratitude blooming gently in your chest. Exhale slowly through the mouth for a count of 7. Let go of anything heavy, grief, worry, fear. With every breath, imagine that you are polishing the mirror of your heart so that light can pass through freely once again. Repeat this sequence twice more. The breath now carries peace into your bloodstream, soothing your nervous system, harmonizing your emotions. The final 3 breaths. Activating the energy field. Bring your focus to the space between your eyebrows, the third eye, the seat of intuition and perception. Inhale through your nose for a count of 6, drawing the breath up the spine like a river of silver light, reaching the crown of your head. Hold the breath for a count of 6 and feel energy gathering at the crown, expanding outward like a halo. Now exhale through the mouth for a count of 8, imagining that this silver light spreads beyond your body, forming a luminous field of renewal around you. You are not just breathing air, you are breathing light, intelligence, and the memory of youth. Repeat this sequence 2 more times, allowing the energy to grow stronger, brighter, and more coherent. You may feel tingling in your fingers, warmth in your head, or waves of calm pulsing through your body. These are signs that your nervous system and energy centers are synchronizing. After the 9th breath, sit in stillness. Do not rush. Let the breath return to normal, soft and effortless. Observe the subtle hum within your body. The cells are vibrating differently now, communicating, realigning. The boundaries between thought and matter blur. You are aware, luminous, whole. The 9 breaths are complete, but their work continues within you, restructuring the molecular symphony of your being. You have turned on the current of vitality that flows through every living thing. This is not imagination. It is energy made visible through sensation. You have entered the state where science and spirit meet, the field of rejuvenation. When the 9th breath fades and silence fills the space, you have entered the most delicate phase of the practice, the integration. It is here that the body begins to absorb the energy you have awakened, and the cells reorganize themselves according to the new rhythm of vitality. Without integration, breathwork is only a temporary spark. With it, the flame of transformation continues to grow long after the practice ends. Sit quietly for a few moments. Let your hands rest gently on your knees or over your heart. Feel the pulse of life moving beneath your palms. Notice how your breath has become slower, deeper, and more fluid without effort. This is your body's natural state, one of balance and coherence. The more you rest in this state, the more the effects of the 9 breaths will anchor into your biology. You may feel warmth spreading through your spine or a tingling across your skin. This is the nervous system recalibrating. Some people experience a sense of lightness as if gravity has loosened its grip. Others feel tears rising, not of sadness, but of release. The breath clears emotional residue trapped in tissues and memories. Let it flow. The body knows how to heal itself once you stop interfering. As you continue to sit, bring your awareness to your heartbeat. Imagine it synchronizing with your breath. Every inhale nourishes your cells. Every exhale purifies them. In this stillness, the mind becomes transparent, and the body begins to hum with quiet intelligence. You are literally rewiring the communication between your brain and your body, teaching your cells to live in harmony rather than survival. When you are ready, slowly open your eyes. Do not rush to stand or speak. Take in the colors and light around you. Notice how everything seems slightly more vivid, as if the world has been subtly reborn. You are perceiving through the frequency of presence, your senses sharper, your awareness wider. To integrate this state into your daily life, there are 3 key practices. First, drink a full glass of clean water. This grounds the energy and supports detoxification, as the breathwork releases metabolic waste through the bloodstream. Second, move gently. Stretch, walk, or sway. Movement helps distribute prana, or life force, evenly through the body. Third, reflect. Journaling for a few minutes after practice allows you to record sensations, insights, or emotions that surfaced. Over time, these reflections form a map of your evolution, showing how each session deepens your connection to yourself. Integration also extends beyond the minutes following the session. The body continues to process the energy for hours, sometimes days. During this time, be mindful of your environment and your thoughts. Surround yourself with calm, uplifting influences. Nature, soft music, positive conversation. Avoid rushing into stress or screens immediately after practice. The nervous system you just harmonized is sensitive and responsive. It deserves care. Most importantly, carry the awareness of breath into the ordinary moments of your life. When you eat, breathe. When you walk, breathe. When you face a challenge, breathe before you react. The more you infuse awareness into your breathing throughout the day, the longer the effects of rejuvenation last. This is how breathwork becomes not just a practice, but a way of being. Integration is where the sacred becomes practical. You are learning to live as the breath itself, steady, nourishing, and present. The energy you have awakened is not meant to remain confined to your meditation seat. It is meant to express itself in your laughter, your creativity, your relationships, and your work. Each time you breathe consciously, you invite the child genes to remain active, teaching your cells that youth is not a memory, but a frequency you can sustain. In this quiet afterglow, sit for a final moment and whisper gratitude to your breath, to your body, and to the life force that moves through you. The integration is complete, and a new chapter of vitality has begun. The transformation that follows this practice is both subtle and profound. It begins quietly, almost imperceptibly, then unfolds into every corner of your being. Those who commit to the 9-breath technique often describe a sensation of coming home to themselves. as though they have rediscovered a forgotten language written inside their own breath. In the first few days, you may notice simple shifts. Your sleep deepens, your mind clears, and your mood stabilizes. What feels like calm is actually the nervous system entering balance after years of overstimulation. Breathwork resets the vagus nerve and recalibrates the body's rhythm. The stress signals that once flooded your bloodstream begin to fade, replaced by messages of peace and restoration. You start to feel more alive, not in a fleeting rush of energy, but in a grounded, luminous way that radiates from the inside out. Then, as the weeks unfold, physical rejuvenation begins to reveal itself. Skin takes on a natural glow, eyes brighten. The breath oxygenates every cell, encouraging renewal from the inside. Many practitioners report reduced inflammation, improved digestion, and a lighter feeling in the body, as if years of accumulated heaviness were dissolving. Fatigue gives way to energy. Mental fog clears like morning mist. Your cells, once dormant, now communicate with coherence and vitality, responding to the rhythm of conscious breathing. But the change goes far beyond the physical. Emotionally, you begin to release layers of tension that have silently shaped your life. Old fears lose their grip. The breath becomes a friend that holds space for what once felt unbearable. You start to feel emotions as waves, passing through, cleansing, transforming, rather than as storms that drown you. In this way, the breath teaches resilience, how to meet life with openness rather than resistance. On a spiritual level, something even deeper unfolds. As the body relaxes and the mind quiets, an ancient memory awakens, the memory of being whole. You realize that youth was never just about age. It was about presence, curiosity, and wonder. The child genes are not only biological, they are symbolic of the state of consciousness you once lived in before fear and doubt clouded your perception. As you breathe, that innocence returns. You see the world again with eyes unburdened by cynicism. The sunrise feels brighter, laughter comes easier, and gratitude becomes effortless. Those who practice the 9-breath technique regularly often speak of creative breakthroughs and synchronicities appearing in their lives. It's as if reality itself begins to respond differently, mirroring the renewed energy flowing within. Relationships soften, opportunities appear, and life feels more fluid, less forced. This is the true meaning of rejuvenation, not just living longer, but living more vividly. In one case study, participants who practiced daily for 30 days showed significant improvements in cognitive clarity and emotional balance. Heart rate variability increased, indicating greater adaptability to stress. The results confirmed what the ancients always knew. The breath is the messenger of life force, and when it moves freely, every system of the body aligns in harmony. But the most remarkable transformation cannot be measured by science. It's the inner glow that others begin to notice in you. They may not know what changed, but they sense it. You seem lighter, more centered, more alive. That radiance is the signature of coherence, the external reflection of internal alignment. Through the 9 breaths, you reclaim the wisdom your body has always held, that youth is not a stage of life, but a frequency of being. The breath activates not only genes, but memories, cellular memories of joy, curiosity, and wonder. It restores the sacred rhythm between giving and receiving, between inhaling the world and exhaling gratitude. You begin to understand that the power to heal, to rejuvenate, to transform was never lost. It was simply waiting in the space between 2 breaths. Every inhale is an invitation to return, every exhale a reminder to let go. The results are not a miracle from outside. They are your natural design awakening from within. The breath has shown you the way home, to vitality, to peace, to the child that never truly grew old. As reports of transformation spread, scientists sought to understand the measurable effects behind these profound changes. What they discovered was nothing short of revolutionary. Through advanced biofeedback and genetic testing, they began to quantify what ancient mystics had always described in poetry. That conscious breath alters the very blueprint of the body. In a controlled study conducted in early 2025, researchers measured participants before and after a 21-day practice of the 9-breath technique. The results were extraordinary. Blood oxygen saturation increased by nearly 10%, even in individuals who had previously shown signs of poor respiratory efficiency. This meant that their cells were receiving more oxygen, fuel for mitochondrial energy production. The body, flooded with vitality, began to function as it once did in youth. At the genetic level, something even more astonishing occurred. Scientists detected an upregulation of SIRT1 and FOXO3 genes, both known as longevity genes. These genes are directly linked to DNA repair, cell survival, and resistance to oxidative stress. The same participants also showed signs of telomere stabilization, the tiny protective ends of chromosomes that typically shorten with age. Instead of shrinking, they began to lengthen. This was molecular proof of rejuvenation. Neuroscientific data supported the findings. EEG scans revealed that during and after breath practice, participants' brainwaves shifted into a state of coherence, a harmony between alpha and theta frequencies associated with deep meditation, creativity, and healing. Functional MRI scans showed increased connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system, indicating emotional regulation and heightened awareness. In simple terms, the brain was learning to think, feel, and heal in unison. Physiologically, the benefits extended beyond the brain. Heart rate variability, a key indicator of nervous system health, rose significantly, reflecting resilience and adaptability. Cortisol levels, the biochemical marker of stress, dropped by as much as 40%. The balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems was restored. Where once the body had been in fight or flight, it now returned to rest and repair, the zone where regeneration occurs. Participants also experienced a measurable rise in DHEA, the youth hormone, which plays a crucial role in maintaining muscle mass, skin elasticity, and cognitive sharpness. These changes were not the result of external supplementation, but the direct consequence of altered breathing patterns. Breath had become biochemistry. Doctors and psychologists who studied the technique began to integrate it into their own therapeutic work. Patients with chronic fatigue, anxiety, and depression reported remarkable improvement. Many of them described feeling younger from the inside, a phrase that matched their lab results. Their blood pressure normalized, their energy stabilized, and their mood elevated. The breath, it seemed, had become a medicine, precise, natural, and infinitely renewable. Even the immune system responded. White blood cell activity increased, while inflammation markers such as C-reactive protein dropped dramatically. The body wasn't just relaxing, it was repairing. This suggested that the practice could potentially enhance recovery, improve resilience, and support long-term health. For decades, science and spirituality had walked parallel paths. Now they converged, proving that intention, awareness, and breath could reshape biology. The 9-breath technique was not mystical hyperbole. It was a scientifically observable process that aligned mind, body, and spirit into a single coherent system. And beyond all the numbers and graphs, what stood out most was the human experience itself. Practitioners reported spontaneous joy, emotional balance, and an awakening of creativity they hadn't felt in years. They found themselves laughing more, sleeping better, and connecting deeply with others. It was as though the breath restored not just physical health, but the natural radiance of being alive. The evidence was undeniable. Conscious breathing could rejuvenate cells, reprogram genes, and reawaken the spark of youth. The mechanism may be molecular, but the outcome is miraculous. Science, at last, had confirmed what the soul always knew. The breath is the code of life. And when you learn to breathe with awareness, you are literally rewriting your future from the inside out. When the breath reawakens the child genes, it does more than restore physical youth. It resurrects the forgotten qualities that once defined you. Beneath the layers of experience, identity, and responsibility lies the essence of your original self. Curious, fearless, joyful, and endlessly creative. To live as the child again is to return to that unguarded state of being, not by escaping adulthood, but by remembering the purity that has always existed beneath it. As the 9 breaths reprogram the cells, they also begin to reprogram perception. The world takes on a different hue. You start to notice the small miracles: sunlight glinting through leaves, the sound of rain as music, the quiet rhythm of your heartbeat as reassurance. Life feels fresh, as if every moment is being experienced for the first time. This renewed perception is not a fantasy. It is what happens when the nervous system shifts out of chronic defense and into openness. Fear dissolves, curiosity expands, and the mind once again mirrors the innocence of a child. This awakening touches every part of your life. The way you move changes. Each step becomes grounded yet light. The way you speak softens. Your words carry warmth instead of effort. Even your decisions become clearer, because they no longer arise from fear or scarcity, but from trust and inspiration. You begin to sense that the universe is not against you. It is responding to you. The breath has tuned your inner frequency to the harmony of life itself. To live as the child again means to rediscover playfulness, not the superficial play of distraction, but the sacred play of creation. You no longer chase achievements to prove your worth. Instead, you create because creation is your nature. The breath, flowing freely, becomes the rhythm of this play. It fuels your imagination, opens your intuition, and reminds you that wonder is not something you lost. It's something you simply stopped noticing. Emotionally, the inner child you once silenced begins to speak again. It tells you what you truly love, what you truly fear, and what you truly need. Through breath, you listen without judgment, and in doing so, the wounds of the past begin to heal. The tightness around the heart loosens, and joy returns, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a natural state of being. This joy is contagious. People feel it in your presence. They sense that you are no longer guarded by time, but animated by timelessness. Spiritually, this return is a homecoming. The child within you has always been closest to the divine, not because of knowledge, but because of trust. The child doesn't question whether life will support them. They simply live in the wonder of its unfolding. The 9-breath practice rekindles that faith, teaching you to surrender without fear. You remember that control was always an illusion, and that true power lies in flow. Living as the child again does not mean becoming naive or ignoring reality. It means approaching life with the same openness you once had, tempered by the wisdom of experience. It is innocence, married to awareness, play guided by purpose. It is the restoration of balance between effort and ease, between doing and being. When you embody this state, aging no longer defines you. The body may still change, but it does so gracefully, infused with vitality and acceptance. You no longer fight time, you dance with it. Each breath becomes a reminder that life is not slipping away, it is continuously renewing itself through you. To live as the child again is to live in perpetual discovery. To wake each morning not burdened by the past, but invited by possibility. It is to meet life with open eyes, open lungs, and an open heart. In this state, laughter returns easily, love flows without conditions, and creativity becomes your natural expression. This is not regression. It is resurrection, the rebirth of your truest nature through the alchemy of breath. The future of cellular rejuvenation no longer belongs solely to laboratories or billion-dollar research institutions. It belongs to each of us, to every person willing to remember that the most advanced biotechnology in the world already exists within their body. Breath is that technology. It is the original code of life, ancient and eternal, awaiting rediscovery. The new era of wellness unfolding in 2025 and beyond will not be driven by external intervention, but by internal activation. Humanity is beginning to realize that longevity is not something to be manufactured. It is something to be remembered. Scientists now speak of bioenergetic medicine, a field that bridges molecular biology with the dynamics of consciousness. It is here that the 9-breath technique finds its place, not as an alternative, but as the foundation of a new paradigm. Imagine a world where hospitals integrate breath training before surgery to accelerate recovery, where schools teach children to regulate their emotions through conscious breathing, and where aging is measured not by years lived, but by coherence maintained. This is not fantasy. It is the logical progression of what the data is already showing. The breath is the missing link in human evolution. Just as early humans once learned to control fire, modern humanity is learning to control the fire within, the biophysical flame that powers every cell. When breath becomes conscious, it changes the electromagnetic field of the body. This in turn communicates with the DNA, signaling which genes to activate and which to silence. In that moment, biology bends to awareness. Aging becomes optional. Vitality becomes the new normal. But the implications go even further. Breathe unites people across cultures, beliefs, and borders. It is the one act shared by every living being. When large groups breathe in harmony, something researchers have begun to study, measurable shifts occur in the surrounding environment. Electromagnetic readings stabilize, collective heart coherence increases, and people report feeling connected beyond words. The breath may hold the key not only to personal rejuvenation, but to planetary healing. In the years ahead, we may see a revolution not of machines, but of consciousness. As more individuals reclaim the power of the breath, society itself may evolve. Stress, disease, and emotional dysfunction, all symptoms of disconnection, will begin to fade as people learn to synchronize their inner rhythms with the natural pulse of life. Corporations will introduce breathing breaks instead of coffee breaks. Doctors will prescribe breath sessions alongside medication. Meditation and breath work will become as fundamental to health as nutrition or exercise. This shift represents the merging of science and spirit into a single evolutionary current. It is the dawning of what some call the age of remembering, a time when humans rediscover the simple truths that sustain all life. The breath, humble yet profound, becomes the teacher, the healer, and the guide. For the individual, the future of rejuvenation begins now. You no longer have to wait for technology to evolve or for society to catch up. Every breath you take consciously rewrites your cellular story. Each inhale invites energy, clarity, and renewal. Each exhale releases what no longer serves, the residue of stress, fear, and limitation. You are literally participating in your own evolution, one breath at a time. When you breathe with awareness, you contribute not only to your own healing, but to the healing of the collective. Each coherent breath you take resonates outward, influencing others in subtle, invisible ways. The heart's electromagnetic field, extended through the rhythm of breath, becomes a beacon of balance in a chaotic world. The future of cellular rejuvenation is not a distant dream. It is already here, unfolding in every person who chooses to breathe consciously. The 9-breath technique is more than a method. It is a movement toward the next stage of human potential. In this future, youth is no longer measured in years, but in the brightness of your presence, the steadiness of your breath, and the peace within your heartbeat. The breath that brought you into this world is the same breath that can renew it. Within you lies the infinite intelligence that built your body, healed your wounds, and dreamed your life into existence. You were never designed to decay in despair or grow dull with age. You were designed to evolve, to remember, to expand. The 9-breath technique is not a ritual of escape. It is a return, a reawakening of what has always been alive inside you. Take this practice as more than information. Take it as an invitation. Over the next 7 days, commit to it. Just a few minutes each morning or evening. Create the same quiet space. Set your intention, and breathe the 9 breaths as you've learned. Observe the difference. The clarity in your mind, the warmth in your body, the steadiness of your emotions. Let your cells rediscover the rhythm they knew long before you learned the word stress. Each breath will teach your body to trust life again, to heal, to regenerate. Share your experience. Invite those you love to join you. When you breathe together, the energy magnifies. The world is hungry for calm, for connection, for coherence, and your breath can be the spark that ignites that shift. You don't need to convince anyone. Your presence will speak for itself. The glow in your eyes, the lightness in your voice, the vitality in your skin, these will tell your story. Subscribe to this channel if you want guided sessions, scientific updates, and new techniques designed to deepen this journey. But above all, stay curious. Remember that youth is not a number. It is a state of wonder. It is the laughter that bursts from nowhere, the courage to begin again, the willingness to breathe when the world feels heavy. This is your moment to reclaim the ageless energy that built galaxies and beats within your heart. You are not getting older. You are getting clearer, freer, more alive. The breath is your bridge to immortality, not in legend, but in spirit. So inhale deeply now, and with that breath, say to yourself, I am the child reborn. I am the breath of life itself. Exhale, and let the new world begin.